Mike Tyson is a 57-year-old beast. Today we're going to be looking at some of his training footage as he prepares for his upcoming bout against Jake Paul. And everybody remember, we are so close to my defense course launching. This is going to be a one-of-a-kind training experience where you're going to have the opportunity to learn from somebody who has loads of kickboxing titles, how I went about defending myself in 45 plus pro fights, never being knocked out. That is a big accomplishment in this world when you're facing killers. We're going to have 20 plus pre-recorded videos for you to view throughout 5 weeks. We're gonna have live calls, and this is gonna be something where you can really go, okay, yes, the punching, the kicking, the bag work, the shadow boxing, that's all fun, but I have a chance to improve something which is so important, the defense. You can head over to Varga Combat and get yourself registered. Doors close March 24th at midnight. If you are not registered by then, you will miss out on this course. So be sure to head to that link and get registered right now. Now I know there's a lot of differing opinions on whether this fight should even be happening because of the 30-year age gap between these two fighters. Also many people going, why are they putting like essentially an amateur? Jake Paul is not an amateur at this point. I don't believe that's true anymore. But I hear people saying that, like not a high-level professional. Why is he even fighting Mike Tyson with the 30-year age gap? So today what I want to do is I want to talk about some of the elements which to me make this a more competitive fight than many of you may think. Because I'm sure many people are going, oh, one guy's going to roll the other. Either thinking that the age is going to play a factor for Mike Tyson and he's going to lose, or thinking, oh, Jake Paul has no chance against Mike Tyson. I think it could be a little bit more competitive than that, possibly. And I want to go through the recent training clips of Tyson and see how he's looking. What does his 57-year-old body have left for us? So let's start off in this look at this clip of him training with, it looks like his regular pad holder that we've seen many times. Here we go. A little bit of defense, slipping. Still good head movement. Firing that jab out. The big thing that we see from Tyson, which he's always had, which he's always been good at, is getting that head off the center line, rolling down deep, switching the angles of the head in between his attacks. Looks like he's still working. It looks like his legs are still very agile. His body and his head can move very fluidly, and that'll be a big factor, I think, when he faces Jake Paul. Is he gonna get hit? Because Jake Paul hits hard. He's a little bit taller than Mike Tyson. Maybe doesn't weigh the same. Might be a little bit lower in weight class because Tyson is really thick now. Like, he's a big man at 57, has that old man strength. But I don't think with a 57-year-old jaw, that's not to say that older men have more susceptible jaws, but after the amount of damage that Tyson would have taken throughout his whole career, with the time that he took off from fighting, with some drug use, probably a lot of drug use, all of that should be taken into consideration. And I think Tyson does not want to eat big shots from Jake Paul. I think that could be the way that this fight ends poorly for him. Let's move into the next clip. We got Tyson, jab into the hook. And they're just practicing. Okay, once we get there, look at the way into that cross. He throws his right shoulder forward before letting the hand leave. Stays very protected. So they're going jab, hook, boom. Man, he's still got loads of power. And really, why should he not? He hit like a truck when he was young. Now, the only thing that you might argue is, okay, he's slower. And speed equals power. The ability to hit something with force is power. So if you slow down, but you have more muscle mass, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to hit harder. But this dude still looks like he's got speed. Probably not as much as 20 years ago, but still fast with that extra power. If he can connect on Jake Paul, I think it could spell trouble for the younger fighter. Jake Paul, we have not seen him yet get smashed by somebody, and Tyson showed us throughout the years that he has that ability to touch people, put them down. Question is, will his speed be good enough to actually land? And let's get into him here with some blue gloves on. Look at that leap forward, that leaping left hook. I mean, the punching speed looks pretty darn good there. I don't look at that and go, in any way, shape, or form, that looks slow. That looks very fast, transition from punch to punch. The time is limited, and that's something that we're looking for. Everybody can, like, really anybody can hit hard with one single shot. But how often can you actually land one single shot? And you throw it, and it doesn't actually connect. It's the ability to throw, be like, oh, I didn't hit where I wanted, and then follow up with others. That's very often where the big KO will come from. And more time between punches equals more time for the guy to go, okay, I parried the first one, okay, here comes the second one, oh, there's the third. But when it's that fast, bang, 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 that's a problem. And Tyson's still looking like he has that. He looks like his old self. I gotta say, like, they're not looking at a 57-year-old who looks over the hill. When I think about this fight, and it's always hard when you have an older fighter and you're going, yes, he's not who he used to be. And then we have somebody he's fighting who's not super high level. It's not like we're saying, oh, let's bring in somebody at the 205 division, the champion at 205, and put him against Tyson. No, Jake Paul has proved himself against some good fighters who were either retired or older or from MMA, but he's still done pretty well, better than most people thought he would do. Like when he went up against Anderson Silva, I was kind of thinking, Anderson Silva just did a great job against Chavez Jr., who fought Canelo, who had a world title in boxing, a legit world title. And if Anderson Silva can beat that dude, Jake Paul's not going to have a chance. And he did a good job against Silva. I think he showed us that he does have the ability to stand with some high-level fighters, but is Tyson going to be too much? Is the punching power going to be too much? Because he hasn't faced somebody with this type of punching power. Is the experience of Tyson in the boxing world going to be too much? Yes, he beat Anderson Silva, but Anderson Silva is an MMA fighter. And as good as he looked in some of his post-UFC boxing fights, he's still not a boxer. So really what this comes down to me for is, will Tyson even be remotely what he was 20 years ago? Can he be 50% of what he was 20 years ago? If he can, I don't see how Jake Paul wins this fight. But I still maintain that yes, the younger fighter does have some advantages. If he can be in really good shape, if he can withstand early parts of the fight, if he can actually land on Tyson, it could still end up being a victory for him. He has not taken care of himself super well, Tyson. The body bounces back. There's no question about that. And if Tyson abused his body throughout the decades, he could be healthy now, rebound, and be in fine form. But we'll only be able to tell when the fight actually happens. I am very hopeful that this fight will be a real one, and not something with headgear or 16-ounce gloves or 18-ounce gloves. I've heard rumors about that from one of the pro boxers over in the UK, saying this is not going to be a legit boxing fight because they're going to be geared up, basically like a sparring session. I'm doubtful that's going to happen. I think we're going to see the two of them in with 10 or 12-ounce gloves, maybe 14s, but no headgear. I think they will be both going for the win. Jake Paul has a lot to prove. Mike Tyson does not want his legacy to be tarnished. Who do you guys think is going to take this fight? Do the clips that we saw today of Tyson impress you? Are you going, whoa, Jake Paul's in trouble? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for joining today. Thanks for joining today, guys. As always, train hard, and I will see you back here soon for another video.